comes to mission Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video games, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games in the franchise in chronological order. Each episode, we'll be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolve@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the reactor mission from Halo Wars on the next episode. If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. This episode, we're debriefing the Beachhead mission from Halo Wars. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krista Brown.
I will name my scarab Fluffy, and he will be beautiful. Please behold Fluffy.
Last mission was repairs. The Spirit of Fire emerged from the innards of the shield world and found themselves inside the planet. Cutter ordered evasive action away from the Covenant ship that was heading right for them. The Spirit avoided a head-on collision but took significant damage. Cutter ordered Forge to repair the ship's power core while repelling the alien boarding party. A gaggle of Cyclops were deployed to fix the core, while Forge and Red Team kicked the Coveys off the hull. Now in Beachhead, Ripamorami forces Professor Anders to activate a Forerunner orb similar to the one found on Harvest. The console activates a fleet of imposing Forerunner ships, which the Covenant planned to use in the war against humanity. With the Arbiter and his guards distracted with hubris, Anders slips away and teleports to the inner surface of the shield world. Forge rescues the Professor, sends her back to the Spirit of Fire, and proceeds to claim a military foothold in the area. We are still in February, no date yet, 2531. This cutscene does lots of things. Let's talk about this cutscene, David. Many things. Like, at least two.
At least two things.
All the things. More things than you'd realize. But it's a pretty cool cutscene. It sets up, well, what they do, I suppose. It sets up the mission. So, it starts off, we're back with Anders. We're on this bridge guarded by elites. And you see the Arbiter storming down with his sword out. And it's like cutting the ground as he walks.
I love that.
Which is pretty cool. Stupid, but cool.
Right.
So he storms down. He just voice activates the restraints off Anders. He pretty much grabs her and says, "Now we're finishing this." He grabs her, and I don't know why he didn't do this sooner.
Yes.
He just throws her at the glowy ball, and her hand just touches it in the exact right location, and pretty much starts activating all these Forerunner structures, which turns out are in fact ships.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're huge. So all of the elites are like distracted now, looking around, going, "Oh crap! Look at this fleet activate." The Arbiter has some spiel about now we've been granted the power to doom your race. They're all looking at the fantastic ships opening up, and Anders just casually walks over to what turns out to be a teleportation grid and just says the word surface, and it takes her away.
Yeets out of there. It's great.
Right.
It's also the exact same location she was being restrained, which seems like all she ever had to do was say the word surface and she was gone. But anyway, she ends up on a random location on the surface, which is good because immediately infection forms run after her.
What? Infection forms? What are they doing inside here? This part got me confused.
The entire point is for there not to be flood here.
Right, like when we were going through, when we were going through with the Spirit of Fire, like it was scraping all the flood off, but letting the Spirit of Fire through. So, but all of a sudden there's flood inside. That's a little confusing, right?
Yeah, they obviously found their own way in. So the flood infection forms are chasing after Anders, and she's just dumb and just stares and looks at them instead of doing anything else. But it's okay because big strong man Forge to the rescue.
Right. With
an AR, he casually shoots the infection forms
with one bullet each, by the way.
One bullet each. Nice simple shots, and he never uses this weapon ever again. Because of course Forge is equipped with a shotgun, not an AR. But anyway, the cutscene pretty much has a quip with Forge saying, "Come on, do you want to be rescued or not?" And then it's pretty much the mission.
The flutter inside, and I guess let's just talk about it right now. You'll see throughout the gameplay there are structures kind of on the edge of the map where there is like a little flood nest, and so they must have worked their way down in through the shield world somehow, and they're kind of popping out inside now the shield world.
What's popping?
So that gives us in this mission, our 3 faction battles and they're not too, they're not terrible. And there is an objective that's tied in with them, but they're around. So we got to deal with them. Let's talk about the objectives. So the first objective is to protect Anders and escort her to the LZ, then find a new LZ, and then capture and hold 4 different bases. That sounds like a lot, and it kind of is. Optional objectives are to kill 10 bomber forms. We've seen those things floating around in previous missions. They kind of crap out some infection forms nearby. The other optional objective is to take control of the Scarab. The Scarab
what?
that Krista just mentioned. Fluffy. Grab Fluffy.
Please. Fluffy needs some help.
That's right.
He's in distress.
Part time is 20 minutes to 60 minutes. Whoa.
You do not need that much time for this mission.
That's a lot of turtling. That's excessive turtling. Either that or like just sending not enough, like sending 3 units at the Covenant bases, because that's a long time. Scoring goals. So gold, it feels like these numbers should be higher because you have to take over 4 bases and there's a lot of combat. But gold is 40,000 and above. Silver is 25 to 39. Bronze is 15 to 24. Tin is 0 to 14. The theoretical best score is 56,000. It wasn't one of the missions that we had like 72,000 or something crazy high.
Yeah.
Feels like this one should be higher. Go ahead.
I mean, like, it's a pretty fast mission once you get going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you put a bunch of stuff down, but if you're not turtling with all these bases, you just kind of put a base down and keep going. At least that's what I did.
Yep. Just defend it a little bit, maybe use it for some supplies. But yeah, I agree, especially once you get that Scarab.
Oh, yeah.
My score, I did pretty good. I felt good about this. 52,885, so not perfect, but pretty close. Did pretty well. David, how'd you do?
Pretty good.
I also felt really good about my score. I got 51,800.
Nice. Very good. Krista, did you get it?
I feel really good about my score, too. Yeah, I did get it.
Nice work.
56.
Back on the perfect train. I love it. I'm sure we did
stupid
pretty
now.
similar approaches, but there's probably different ways to go. Like, do you go to the center? Do you go to the right base first and all that? Let's talk about real quickly the initial scene, because that's all more or less the same. It's kind of fun to see a mission start where you're controlling just 2, your 2 hero units, and so it's just Anders and Forge, and you just walk them up to the initial landing zone, and that's where there's some Marines there just waiting, and they're fighting off some flood swarm. There's nothing really to do other than just go to the next LZ at that point. I don't know. Did you guys wander around at all, or did you just head right over to the teleporter?
The first mission, the first time I played it, I wandered around a lot more.
Is there any supplies up there or anything?
Not on the first one.
Okay.
Once you go down in the teleporter, there's a couple.
Yeah. There is, so what you can, if you really want to, I don't know if you'd survive, but there is a flood den nearby here, and that's where a lot of the bomber forms are coming from. So you can, I guess, venture your small little squad in there and see if you could maybe clear that out. I don't know why you would do that, but I guess it's interesting to at least know that that's where they are coming from. So you could head that direction. But the game clearly wants you to go to the teleporter. So go down over there. Is this the first time we've done teleporting? Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. It's not really explained at all. But there's
I think they tell you to just press X on it.
Yeah. I mean, just like the technology, like we played Halo long enough to know there's portal technology, and on the, we're in a Forerunner world, so it would make sense that there's something similar. They don't call it portals, they call it teleporting, but it's more or less a similar technology to what we've seen probably in, Halo 4. So they'll just zap you over to a new spot on the map. So you use that in a couple parts. You use it here, and then we'll use it kind of later in the mission. But once you get to the next that teleporting spot, I guess where it drops you off, then there are supplies around. And so I did go around and scoop those up to just help boost my initial supplies right away. But then you do have to fight a little bit of Covenant off. David, why don't you take us from there on your run? What else? What was your approach from there?
Very similar. I remember this time immediately I started taking over.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Oh.
Before we do that, Krista's got to tell us what's on the battlefield. There's a lot of stuff. Sorry.
Oh, excuse you guys. You forgot about me.
No.
I forgot about me.
There's a lot of setup there. So now what's the toy box?
There's a lot in the toy box. So we have our hero units, Forge, Spartan 2s, Jerome, Alice, Douglas. We have our fire base, built as a station, upgrade to fortress. Supply pads, reactors, turrets, warthogs, elephants. Ooh, you do not need the elephant.
Nope.
Do not make the elephant. The barracks / elephant are marines. You can fully upgrade to ODST and flamethrowers.
That's kind of cool. I think that is. Have we been able to fully upgrade to ODSTs in the past, or is it just this mission?
Yeah, we could. There was 1 or 2 missions actually really early that you could do it.
Okay.
David's the ODST guy.
Because you do there's like a med pack one, and then after the med pack one is the ODST. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Medic
There's
or
RPG, medic, and I think then
ODST. Cool.
ODST, or it could be medic RPG. I'm not sure.
All right. Our vehicle depot has scorpions, cobras, and wolverines. Our airpad has hornets and vultures.
Oh,
so
boy.
happy to see those guys again. Our field armory has reserves, reinforcement, turret upgrades, adrenaline, and carpet bomb. And of course, we have the turrets around our base and stuff like that. Our Spirit of Fire abilities: heal and repair, carpet bomb, transport, and ODST drops.
Ooh, yeah.
They're just giving us everything. So that's what we can make. We can make a lot of things. You can come out at this mission from a lot of different angles. So we have some Covenant units. We have our ground units, our elites, grunts, jackals, hunters. Those elites with the swords suck.
Yeah, they sent a ton of them.
They sent
They
every
slice the
single
crap
base,
out of
they
you.
send
Yeah.
like 20 of them. I'm like, what is going on?
Right.
And then, of course, none of the units go after them. They're just still trying to bombard the base. I'm like, guys, you're dying. Anyway, shade turrets and towers are some of the structures they make. Spirit drop ships are super fun.
The turrets, so there are the shade turrets that we've seen before, but then there's other turrets.
Little mini turrets,
Mini turrets. I think they're all called shade turrets. I didn't look it up, but there are many like unmanned turrets as well.
Yeah, that are around the bases. They're not bad. As long as you have a locust, you're fine.
Yeah.
Speaking of locusts, our ground vehicles are ghosts, wraiths, and locusts. Our air units are banshees and vampires, and we have a mega turret.
I believe
somewhere.
there's a mega turret. I think I read that. I didn't really notice it, but I think there's one at the last base. But yeah, it didn't bother me very much. So take that for what it's well worth.
I mean, like, on normal, you don't see the mega turrets very often, so maybe on heroic and legendary, you see them a bit more.
Yeah.
So we have some flood units. Fun stuff. All 3 factions are here. It's a big party. It's like a reunion.
Right.
It's like the first reunion of many. So we have some ground units. We have infection forms, combat forms, infected marines, and flood cloud. All of our best friends. We have some air units, the flood swarm, and the bomber forms. And we have some stationary flood, nests, and tentacles. So very fun
I think that's
stuff
all
happening.
the stationary. There's more in other missions, but really just kind of those little nests that are kind of around the edges of the mission.
Yeah,
And then
and there's not that many flood you have to combat with. It's not like they're going for full force at you like the Covenant are.
Yeah, exactly. Difficulty modifications: easy. All enemy units have 50% less health and inflict 50% more damage. The small Covenant base sending banshees to attack you in the southern end is gone, so that doesn't exist in uneasy. Heroic, larger flights of banshees attack your base. Covenant-based defenders, Covenant-based defenders that land as you attack are tougher. Okay. Legendary, all enemy units have 25% more health and 25% more damage. Covenant-based defenders that land and attack you are tougher. So I think that's the Spirit dropships. That seems to be what they're referring to there. All right, David. Now you're all queued up. Now we've saved Anders. We've gone to the LZ. Our pelican blew up. I didn't mention that. Our pelican.
Of course.
did go
I thought
down.
that was hilarious.
Yeah, I think they didn't. He say a comment about that.
Another pelican down or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious that when the mission starts, this pelican is not surviving because the mission objective is get her to a pelican, and it's like
Right.
5 steps away. And you're like, right, okay, yeah, this isn't going to happen. But anyway, you make your move towards the pelican, immediately gets taken down by a bunch of flood.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta then retreat through a teleporter, which Anders recognized straight away. You teleport yourself down a lower level. This is where you have another new drop zone. Another pelican's been requested. You have to hold this area for 2 minutes. This is pretty simple. There's some Covenant forces around. You can do a small bit of exploring. I wouldn't recommend going too far
Yeah.
up or down, let's say, because that's where bases are.
You
But
should
there
find
are some
2
supplies
caches
and
of
stuff like that.
supplies. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some splashes of supplies that are worth just taking. Other than that, the pelican shows up. Anders gets to it. She goes away. Your new objective is now to take 4 bases, which seems like a lot.
It does.
And, like you said, it's an hour for this mission, which is also long.
Mhm.
Pretty much from there, you get some drops, and the drops are some ODSTs, hell yeah,
Yep.
and the Spartans.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, you get like 4 drops, I think, on normal, which is pretty nice. So I immediately take all these troops and start moving down towards the map.
Which way do
I
you
moved-
go? Do you go
I-
at the
I
center
moved-
or to the right?
I went to the right. I didn't think about going to the center.
Okay.
But I think obviously the game be way different depending on this base, because I went to the base at the far end, and that was actually pretty simple to defend from there. It only really gets attacked by air units and some random floods.
Mm-hmm.
So I went south, or base to the right. Any vehicle I encountered, I stole. So I stole a Locust straight away. I
Yeah.
stole a Wraith, and I
Yes.
stole a Banshee.
Look at
That
you.
was pretty fun. Now the Wraith died every single time. I stole a bunch of Wraiths. They all got destroyed.
Really?
Yeah, Banshees just demolished it.
Huh.
Every time Banshees came in and did a run, they just took it out.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. So I kind of gave up at one stage. So that was kind of cool. So with all these vehicles, I immediately started taking up the base. Pretty simple. That base then became my resource center. I just built resources, and I just built 2 refineries
Reactors.
and an air pad, a reactor and an
Mhm.
air pad. And pretty much I was like, okay, this is my base. I built up my turrets, up-revved them for anti-air. I kept a unit down by that flood area,
Yeah.
the kind of
Mhm.
vent, because I thought flood would spawn out there, and I was like, oh crap, is right beside the base. I'll put some units down here. So
I think some
that's-
swarm do come out of there.
They might do. They might
Yeah.
do. Not a lot to worry. I don't think.
No.
I immediately put Forge into this weird building that
Yes.
essentially isn't a supply pad. So I'm like, yeah, you go in there. You go in there, buddy.
I did the same thing.
So that was really nice. And then I pretty much stayed here for a while. You take some Banshee hits, and that's pretty much it. A bunch of ground forces did come eventually, but I had enough Hornets built at this stage that it wasn't too difficult.
So you turtled a little bit right here, is what you're saying?
Just right here at the start, just to get more resources, and I just did a lot of built like a field armory. I researched everything, destroyed it, built up another supply pad, and then when I had enough units and enough Hornets, I pretty much started making my way across.
Did you go full like 30? 30
No,
army
I didn't do
unit
that
army?
much because I saw from the leader powers that ODSTs were possible. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I kept my vehicle and unit count fairly low. I didn't go over the halfway mark.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much moved myself across to the base in the middle. When I took that, that became another supply pad, and then I started building out barracks. I started immediately leveling up all of my marine units
Yep.
to get the ODSTs.
Nice.
I didn't stay at this base in the middle very long. I built up the turrets and then left straight away. I went to the right.
Really quick,
so
do you
across
remember,
the
is
light
that
bridge.
base in the middle, is that one shielded? Do you
No.
remember? Okay.
No.
2 of them are shielded,
now-
but not that
Yeah, I wonder if
first
the
shield.
shielded is a time-based thing. Do they have time to build up their shields?
I don't-
Maybe we took too long or something. I don't know.
I think they spawn with them.
They spawn with them. Yeah, I'm
Alright,
pretty
okay.
sure. There's a looking at the Prima guide. It has a little like overhead map, and the third, I guess the third and the fourth bases already have shields up. So But yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's like, would it make sense to? It almost would encourage you to go different routes, right? Because I almost thought like maybe I could go to like the last spot that's on that high ridge right away, and that wouldn't be built up, but it looks like it is.
And as you move away from that base, you get a little cutscene, and the flood appears, tentacles smell the ground, and you get a scarab. And I was like, oh shit, scarabs are in this game. So I immediately put my last Spartan in there, which is the correct choice. Put a Spartan in a scarab. Come on,
right.
So that was pretty cool because I wasn't expecting that. It's at this stage where I had enough resources that I pumped out a falcon.
Okay.
Not a falcon. Vulture. A vulture.
A vulture, yeah.
Yeah. I think falcons are Halo Wars 2, aren't they? They're like the heat.
No, falcons are Reach.
Reach. Okay. Oh yes, there we go. So from there, I brought my vulture to my middle base, and then pretty much brought all of those units that I had, which are mostly vehicles at this stage, and air units, to the third base. That went down real easy, even with shields.
Because you had your Scarab, right?
Because my Scarab now. Scarab is wrecked shop.
Isn't there one unit in the Covenant base that is like the shield generator?
There is a building you can take down to knock out the shield.
I feel like my Scarab targeted that one. It like just knew, because it seemed to go after one building in particular, and then from there, then the shield kind of dropped down. But maybe if you take out, or like if the base takes enough damage, then the shield drops no matter what. I don't know, but it was fun to kind of see it phase out.
Yeah, I think you can damage the shield enough to knock it out itself.
Okay.
At some stage, and then it probably needs a refresh time or something like that before it comes back again. So this third base went down real fast. From there, I did a little bit of exploring. Not a whole lot, because you find another teleporter, so I started sending some troops through that just to see what was on the other side. And there was a bunch of shade turrets. And at this moment, I was like, oh, I just sent through a Spartan, which was all I had left. I think one of the vehicles had blown up. So I sent him through, and when he started getting attacked by shade turrets, I'm like, this is my moment. And so I immediately whipped out my ODST gun and dropped about 6 ODST units right down around them. It was glorious. I then moved this like team further in, fought some more flood. Pretty well, I knew I was pretty close to another base when I got some more vehicles, so then I kind of moved all my air units up and then teleported the Scarab through as well, and the Locust I had. And then this last base was nothing. Like the third base I took, I literally put a fire base down and that was it. I didn't bother building anything because I knew I was near the end of the mission. That's pretty much what I did here. I just ganked the hell out of this base, and it was pretty fun. I won't lie to you. Did
you have trouble with that Scarab that was sitting up there?
No, because I kind of forgot about it and I was away doing other things in other bases, and then when I came back, this Scarab was almost half dead, and I was like, oh shit, Scarab. I did throw down a carpet bomb, but I'm pretty sure it got destroyed even before that, because I think, does the Scarab hold troops?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The only reason I asked, because maybe it was because the fog of war wasn't totally gone. But that Scarab died, and about 20 elites came out with swords.
Oh,
Maybe they came up from the base. But I was like, oh, that's like immediately. And then they wiped a lot of my ODSTs, which was real sad for me.
Yeah. There's a mini base just behind that, up that ramp. So that's probably where they came from. That could be
something.
Yeah.
But like, there was just so many of them at once. So I carpet bombed them, which was pretty fun. And from there, that's pretty much the mission was over. I built the last base, and then you're done.
Very nice. Yeah, that's good work. There's a lot to do, but I feel like if you're smart, you can, be pretty efficient. I did 2 different runs. I did 1, 2, where I did the same as you. I kind of went off to the side, put Forge in that supply thing right away, just forgot about him, and then went back to the middle and around. The second one I did go up to the middle base and took the middle base first, and that felt pretty good. And again, I wasn't sure if the other 2 bases had the shields already on, so I was trying to see, like, maybe if I go to the middle, like, are they all building up as we go? But no, they're all established. But going to the middle first worked fine. Actually, I think I got a higher score when I went to the middle first, because then I think what I did is I went and grabbed the Scarab right away, and then used the Scarab, and I kind of brought him all the way down to the base in the corner, the one you attacked first, and then kind of wrapped around from there. The first time, so my first run, when I discovered the scarab right away. Awesome surprise, right? Like oh, okay, let's get this thing. I ended up, freeing all of the or taking out all the flood tentacles that are surrounding it so that I could access it. But all of my Spartans were already in vehicles, and you can't eject from a vehicle. At least I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I had to go. I think I took the Wraith that one of the Spartans was in. It just sent him up to the base that's nearby, and then
sent him to die.
Yeah, to send it to die, because I knew he would pop out from there. And then once I had just the Spartan unit, then I was able to go back and take out capture the scarab, which is a little interesting, a little frustrating, I guess. It's like, well, why can't we just eject from this thing and then keep that in my? I guess it would then be an empty Wraith. It was probably just some play mechanic they didn't figure out.
Then the Wraith could just explode or something.
Yeah, right. You could
Yeah, I'd accept it as a
self-destruct it, right? That would work. So what else did I do? The bomber forms all kind of come from that first spot. So I had a problem with the bombers. I didn't get the bombers on my first run, and I still ended up getting gold on my first run without getting the bombers. But the second run, and maybe this was because I established my base in the center, but I felt like they came more steadily through, and I didn't really have to try to get them. I just was able to get the 10 flood bombers naturally, I guess, but just by having a bunch of my turrets up. So on both of my bases, the first two bases that I got, I just made sure to build a bunch of turrets and converted them all to missile turrets just to take out all the air units, because there are a lot of banshees that come and attack those bases, and you need to keep them alive to keep the supplies and all that sort of stuff. Let's see, what else did I do? I think I did focus on scorpions. I haven't done scorpions in a while, but I did focus on scorpions right away, building those. And then also I built just a couple hornets, but I don't think I even really needed to get reinforcements for this mission. I was able to do well enough with just the scarab, of course, and then the captured vehicles that I had, a couple scorpions, and I was able to go around. I think I ended up at the tail end, just to do it, I built the reinforcements, so I had more access to more units. But I don't think I really needed them. There are a couple different spots on the map that have mini bases, so the third base that's kind of towards the top of the map. There's a ramp that you can go and explore off to the side, and there is a little base there that will send Covenant. I didn't feel like it was too difficult. I bet on heroic, though. This mission is a lot more difficult, heroic and legendary, where you'd have to maybe focus on those, taking those out a little bit more, just to prevent the additional units that are coming out of there. Let's see, what else did I do? Yeah, and then pretty much similar to David, just kind of wrapped around to that teleporter. I think I sent my entire wave to that teleporter on my second run, because I knew that was the thing. On the first run, it's like I put a couple through there, just to kind of see what was up there, and that was indeed where the final base was. But then, yeah, by the time I had my second run, it's just, okay, send everybody through the teleporter. The other thing, once you get to that last spot, if you're continuing to build scorpions or whatever else, you can use then the transport ability to, bring up some scorpions or anything else. I think I might have built a cobra at one point just to help take down that final base. But you can use that as well instead of having to walk everybody up to that teleporter and around. But yeah, I think I was trying to be smart on the first base that I took. To Krista's advice, is I built reactors right away, just to get those up and running so that I could build my vehicles sooner, and then built supply pads in between there. And by the end, I did bad at managing my supplies. Like at the beginning, I didn't have a ton of supplies, but by the end, I just had thousands of supplies.
Yup.
I just had way more than I needed to. So yeah, this is a fun mission. It's fun to have that scarab. Oh, and turn on the Wuv Wu skull if you haven't done that. I think I mentioned it in the scarab mission. Way back, I think it was episode 7. But if you turn the Wuv Wu skull on in that mission, it doesn't actually do anything. So I must have had a fever dream and thought it did. But when now in this mission, when the scarab is on your squad or on your team, now turn that thing on, and it will fire a rainbow out of its focus cannon in the middle, and it has little bubbles that pop up when it's when it's hit whatever it's hitting. It's really good. It's very nice.
That's so
Nice little
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely do that. The black box is towards the top of the map. It's on a ridge, so you need to use an air unit to go grab that. So make sure to do that. And then when you get all the bomber forms, so once you get the 10th bomber form, you need to then, I guess you could walk some units up back to the original teleporter, back into, it's kind of like the southwest corner of the map. So back where the original flood are all garrisoned up there. So you got to go back into enemy territory, back into flood territory to grab that skull. I just flew, I think it was just one hornet. I just flew one hornet up there, grabbed it, and then skedaddled from there. So I was able to get both of those collectibles. I think that's kind of the main points. I may jump in on Krista's run, but I think that this mission is intimidating to start with when you see the four, I have to capture 4 bases, but the bases aren't that well defended. The bases are built up, but there's not a ton of Covenant surrounding them or protecting them, so it's not terrible. I should try this on Heroic, though. I'm sure my tune will change. Krista, how'd you do?
Okay, so, just right off the bat, the Pelican dies, we're all so sad. We go through the teleporter, I send some of my Marines up to the left to get the supplies up there, and then some of my Marines straight down to get that supplies. And then I keep Anders at the place where she's gonna get picked up, and then everyone else just kind of starts inching forward just a little bit. And once Anders gets picked up, the Spartans drop. I totally forget about all my other units and just pick the Spartans.
Right.
So I get one of the Spartans to capture that first locus, and then behind the base there's a Wraith, and to the right of the base there's a Wraith. So I capture all those, and now the base has absolutely no chance.
Right.
And whatever unit I have lying around, like one of the ODSTs, I send over to the Forerunner supply pad while everyone else is destroying the base. So I destroy the base. This is the right base. This isn't the middle base.
Yep.
So
did you do more than one run to get the perfect? You said
I
did. Runs?
I ended up doing 3.
You did 3rd to get the perfect? Okay.
Yeah, because I was having trouble getting the bomber thing. And then on the second round, I figured out that there was a flood base back where you came from, so...
Yeah. Gotcha.
This is very influenced by that. So, for the initial base, I built 1 reactor, upgraded it, the rest supply pads, and a vehicle depot is what I did for the first base, and then and turrets.
You need
turrets,
2 reactors for a vehicle depot, I think, don't you?
Yeah, but I upgraded my first one.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so pretty much right when I upgrade the base, I throw some turrets down, all my units go to the next base, and then I just kind of upgrade stuff and go back and forth. So immediately I start assaulting the second base in the middle. And then I'm just kind of building up that first base. I build about 5 of the anti-air vehicles.
Oh, Wolverines, you mean?
Yeah, Wolverines, because the flood base only has like anti-air or air vehicles up in the flood base. So I build about 5 of those, and I keep going. My goal is to get the Scarab pretty much right off the bat. So I take over that second base with my Spartans, and Forge pretty much is all that's left. So I take over that base and then immediately go over and get the Scarab. Meanwhile,
the turrets are a little pain in the ass in that second spot in the middle area.
Not when you have a Locust.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
the Locust just kills all of the turrets and stuff. The Locust, I always have the Locust do that stuff. And of course I have like the Locust focusing on the building, and then the Wraiths kind of clean up all the elites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm healing them periodically when they need healed. Once I get that second base, I throw down another upgraded reactor, the rest supply pads, and yeah, I think that's all I did for that one.
Okay, so you're just pumping out supplies.
Yeah, I'm just pumping out supplies. Of course, turrets upgraded to anti-air. Everything's anti-air.
Yep.
The Wolverines go up to the flood base and just clear that out, so I can, at that point, I pretty much have gotten all the flood bomber forms that I need.
Oh, so you sent them back to that original spot, like through the teleporter? Is that what you're saying you did? Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so by that point, I have the Scarab, and I'm assaulting the third base with the Spartans. Once I get that third base, I put down more supply pads, and I put down a air air depot.
Oh, so you haven't built air until this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I start pumping out vultures. I pump out like 2 vultures. Meanwhile, the Spartans are already up assaulting the scarab that you're fighting. Get that out of the way. By that time, I have a vulture or 2, and then just assault the final base, and you're done.
Yeah, nice. Did you? I was gonna ask. Did you capture that other scarab? Like, do you know if that's possible?
I don't think that's possible. No.
Okay, that would be
I
cool
didn't
if you
try
could do
it.
that. Yeah. So you could have potentially two
That's
scarabs.
so cool. I never even thought to do that.
Yeah, that'd be rad if you could do that.
That would be amazing.
Did you do reinforcements? Did you do your field armory? Or
No,
did
I
you
didn't
just roll
need
with what
to.
you had? Yeah.
No. You can
Which
pretty
felt-
much beat this mission with just the Spartans. Like,
Yeah.
with the scarab and in vehicles and stuff. Like, everything else was just kind of bonus to get stuff done quicker.
Mm-hmm. It feels like we've come so far because of remember the first mission, I guess the second mission, where you're just learning how to build up your fire base and stuff like that. When you come to that the Covenant base that's in the middle of the map, it seems like it's a lot harder to take down than by now. These are like fully upgraded Covenant bases, and we just kind of blaze through them. Again, we have a scarab, so that helps. Did you have to heal your scarab at all?
Yeah, I think I healed it right after the scarab fight. I healed it a little bit and then assaulted the third base, but it wasn't a huge deal.
It doesn't heal it all the way. I healed it, I think on my second run I healed it twice because it had gotten down there a little ways. But it doesn't go like full green bar. It goes just a little bit of the green bar because it's such a powerful unit. It makes sense it wouldn't heal it all the way.
Yeah, just kind of nerf it, I guess.
Yeah, but it's fun having that thing on your side for sure. Pretty sweet. Nice little present that they left you. Cool. David, any other thoughts or insights on this one? How you? I mean, is it this like? Do you feel super powerful now at this point? Like, you know what you're doing. We have pretty much everything at our disposal.
Yeah.
We know we're kind of coming to the end of the campaign. There's 2 missions after this.
I mean, we have a mission here where we're building 4 bases. And
Yeah.
they give you pretty much everything. It has the feeling of like of that.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like the story and where the characters are, you've kind of only just had this massive revelation. So like it feels like there's still more to come.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But like the objective's kind of clear now. You can see what it is. It's the Covenant that wanted this big fleet of Forerunner ships. And it kind of opens up to, okay, how are you going to stop them now? Like, you have to obviously stop them getting the ships.
Mm-hmm.
And again, obviously, the humanity having the advantage of being able to use and activate Forerunner tech. I don't think that's been fully exploited yet. And only Anders has kind of really figured that out.
Right.
But it's cool. Like, I am enjoying the story. And obviously, the cutscenes really sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like the characters. So yeah, I get a good feeling. I mean, I really enjoyed this mission as well too.
It feels like coming off the last 2 missions, we're in the Spirit of Fire. They're cool, but they're also kind of filler missions, right? Like, just to extend the campaign a little bit. I'm glad that they're there. I'm glad that we got to experience that, had the fight on the Spirit of Fire. But those could have almost just been done in like a cutscene, right? Whereas as now, we're kind of back to the beef of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish in the game here. It's fun to finally be able, again, build bases and, fight the Covenant. A little bit of flood here and there, but it's not too bad. But we're starting to feel really powerful. We're starting to know what we're doing, know how to have full command of our army, and it's they do a good job of progressing you through. And I think this mission, there isn't anything new in this mission, and I forget if we get anything new towards the end. I think we're all full, right? They've finally given us everything at our disposal, and now let's just use those tools to finish the rest of the game. Awesome. Let's do that trivia. What you got?
We got a little small bit for you. Unlike most levels, it is possible for a Spartan to board a specific unmanned scarab in this level, so obviously you can't do it in normal levels. That answers that question.
Mm-hmm.
Killing 25 enemy units with the scarab unlocked the Beaming with Pride achievement. I got it. Strangely said, scarab is labeled Super Scarab, like the one that is destroyed in the 7th level. Unlike other scarabs, this scarab cannot climb over impassable terrain.
Oh yeah, like in Halo 2 where it climbs over stuff.
A deleted in-game cutscene shows Ripper Mormi, the Arbiter, exiting a teleporter in this level. likely in pursuit of Anders, suggesting that Ensemble Studios had plans for a unique Arbiter unit to appear in this level rather than being a unit exclusive to the Skirmish games.
Oh, that would have been
There you go.
sweet.
That would have been cool.
Well,
If he was like
there's
chasing
enough
you.
bloody sword appearing elites in this level. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It is interesting. I think you mentioned it during the beginning cutscene. It's like, why haven't they done this sooner? You know, they've kind of been just dicking around wherever they are. I think it is said somewhere in Halo Pete. I think where the Covenant are, where Arbiter and Anders was, I guess, and the Prophet of Regret, it's called the Apex. So that must be some central location or control area of the Shield world. But it seems like they could have been doing this stuff a while ago because we've been chasing them for a bit. But anyway, it is what it is. These ships are super impressive. Do you guys know anything about these Forerunner ships?
I think they're dreadnoughts, right?
I don't think they're dreadnoughts. I think they're called like Sojourners or something like that. Let's see here.
Probably fighters.
Yeah, Sojourner class dreadnoughts. Oh, okay, Sojourner class dreadnought. Yeah, there you go. So it's a whole different thing. We'll
Yeah, everybody's right.
yeah, right. Exactly. We all win.
Yay.
They aren't the same shape that we've seen from the dreadnought, but yeah, they're pretty wild. So look into those. We'll try to do a little more research on those to see what they're all about. But pretty intimidating. Let's not let the Covenant have those. That'd be bad news. Bad news.
Yeah.
What's the black box have to say?
So 23 February 2531. The Spirit of Fire arrives at an uncharted planet swarming with strange alien life forms. Within a day, the ship is drawn into the planet's interior where the crew confronts the Covenant and eventually rescues Professor Anders. So the date of the game is February 24th, 2531. According to this.
There we go. We have a date. Let somebody tell Halopedia.
We know. We read the black box,
That's
Halopedia.
right. Come on. All right. I'll update my notes. 24th. Perfect. Let's do some community. David, what's Facebook have to say?
Facebook is ready for Mr. Colin Perkins because he put up a mighty fine post. Mr. Colin Perkins, you receive admin on March 27th at 8:28 p.m. You receive a decommissioned scarab to start up your own business as a reward for your service in the war. What do you use it for, and what's the name of your company? Question for Mission Debrief, Halo Wars Beachhead mission.
Yeah.
There we go.
I feel like I've been asking. We've done multiple Scarab based questions, so this question kind of had to be about Scarab because you get to drive a Scarab. So I had to rack my brain on this one, but I think it's fun. I think there's some good answers.
Thomas Fishedin says mining on a distant world. Probably call it something fun like Lang Dortmund. Patrick says a mobile Airbnb. Outrageously high rental prices. That's novel. Taylor says use it for extreme sightseeing tours like climbing up the walls of the Grand Canyon. Mostly just want the bumper sticker that says my other ride is a scarab. Matthew says remove the legs and use the main body as a housing for a bar/inn, then call it Barkas Scarab backwards. Pronounced barracks.
That's good.
Okay,
pronounced barracks, yeah.
Yeah. Jason Hayes says I'd run a brothel out of it. God damn it, Jason.
What's that?
That's always
What's that?
I'll tell you when they're older, Colin.
All right, thanks.
Manny Bartista says, give it to Pinky and the Brain so they can finally take over the world.
Yay!
Spider in brackets. That was pretty good. That's all we got.
That's all, okay. Discord, how'd they do?
Alright, Axif says, I would use it for a restaurant and call it Plasma Latino Cuisine. Spartan B312 says, terrorize people to keep them in their houses. The government might not put the nation on lockdown, but I will. It'll be a Spartans hijacked Scarab Inc.
Topical, more topical stuff.
Of course. Dizzy Bumper says, I'd name it Daddy and take it on a joyride to the beach. You're not supposed to go outside. Min says, I'd use it to catch crashing pelicans and call my company the Carter Catcher Co. Matt says, I'd use it for rideshare and call it Uber.
Yeah, I like that.
Dezudo says, I'd call it the Hef and use it in his memory as a mobile Playboy mansion. And on
God.
Rai's recommendation, get the Huradong to modify its focus cannon to fire dildos.
Oh, God.
Beautiful. Jedi Spartan says Scarab Excavation LTD. And then Hectorius said, I'd use it so I don't have to fly on holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got.
Very
You don't
good.
want to be on those airplanes right now anyway. Can the
That's right.
Scarab go through the ocean? Can it, like,
Maybe.
is it waterproof?
Yeah, I bet it is.
No, that thing's totally open. Think of like all the open areas in it, and like
Just create your own Bioshock. Just sink it to the bottom of the ocean, live there.
Did you guys have any fun ideas? Mine was for it to turn into like a playground for kids, because of course I have kids. That's where my head's at. But they'd be able to climb all over that thing, and they'd be like cool.
Keep them busy for weeks.
And then like in the middle would be like the gift shop. So that's where the parents had to buy all the stuff. I don't know. Anything fun that came to mind for you guys?
I just live there.
Yeah.
I hope it has good Wi-Fi.
I think it'd be a cool place to live.
Yeah.
Just park it anywhere.
Right.
Go anywhere.
It's just like a beefed up RV.
Yeah, just excavate some shit if you need it. No worries.
Make your own roads.
Yeah.
I like it. Cool. That will do it for our debriefing of the Beachhead mission from Halo Wars. On the next episode, we'll be covering Reactor. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. Until next time, evolve.
Evolve!
Oh.